Good morning, Russians. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. Very ambitious project. This is the back of a naked playfield. It's for KISS, but it doesn't matter. What I'm going to show you is we're going to do a scratch build on a complete wiring harness. So when this is done, we'll be able to pop it in the game and start flipping. Very ambitious project. It's going to take quite a while. But stick with me and I will show you how we're going to go from this to this. Okay, every playfield, every Bally playfield, from KISS to Globetrotters to Matahari, you name it, they all follow the same sweet sequence of layers of wiring harnesses. We start off with the general illumination, switch matrix, flippers have their own wiring harness, the solenoids have their own wiring harness, and the same with the controlled lamps. So basically 5 different wiring harnesses are going to be made in order to get this thing completed. And I'm going to show you every step of the way. Okay, so let's begin. So let's start doing the general illumination. And the way we're going to do this is, again, I've done this before. So I've got some pretty detailed pictures of where the power supply wire goes and where the light sockets go. So I'm gonna pop those in right now. And of special note, I have a couple of assemblies lying around. So like the stand-up targets, a couple of switches, pop bumper targets, things like that. And just locate them to where they approximately need to go, because what you wanna do is make sure that this wire doesn't cross over anything and touch anything. So that's why you see how it's, this is from the factory, the way that it goes over the arrow here, which is indicative of why that they did that. They will go over the arrow here, oops, so that we're not touching any of the posts that stick up or you know, impede on anything. So now's the time. We haven't soldered anything in yet, just because I like soldering when it's the last possible minute. We're going to put these little buttons on that actually hold the wiring harness. So I've got them marked with little X's here. So I'm just going to go around and pop them in, because now we're going to start feeding the wires to get this thing to light up. So I've been calling this the general illumination. For the most part it is, but there's also switched illumination. What's the difference? General illumination is when you turn the game on, you get those first initial lights, and then in the Bally's, once it boots up, you start getting the flashing lights. Okay, the flashing lights are things like this part with KISS, when you see the KISS flash and all that. Okay, so don't get too confused. And now, like I said, we're going to put these little buttons in. Now that's going to help us shape our wiring harness. Now, these, if you put them in like this, it'll poke through the playfield. All right, it's like, I don't know, 2 millimeters longer than the playfield is. And the reason for it is because you have that space there that makes up for it. So just make sure you don't, just start popping these things in and then realize, oh, I should have put the wiring loom, a harness or whatever this thing is called, and then realize, oh gosh, I've just popped through the playfield. Okay, so we put these are the wire loom connectors. Okay, so this is what's going to give us where the wires are going to start to rest when we start populating the playfield with wire. Now I'm going to do this with a combination of schematics and pictures of a past playfield swap. So I took a lot of pictures, so we're going to use those pictures as references as well. So anyway, we're going to work on this one here, J1. This is to playfield from the power supply. So all we got to know right now are the color of the wires. So these are all solid. That's red, that's blue, that's brown, that's, what's that? That's orange, blue, and red. Okay, so I'm gonna get the wires and I'm gonna start them from where they enter the playfield. So that's the top. This section here is where basically everything comes into, and then it just kind of disperses around the playfield. So let's begin. And how did I know those colors off the top of my head? Well, I just have a chart right there, just on my wall. All right, I'll bring you back. Let the spaghetti begin. So here's what I did, and here's what I'm going to promise to you guys. So the first wires have been installed, and again, these are for the general illumination. I marked which wire goes where. Again, this is from pictures, and the first thing we're going to do is this is where the connector is going to go. So first loom, general illumination. I like to extend it at least 6 inches plus past the playfield. So we're going to cut it right about here. Okay, and now it's going to be an exercise of daisy chaining them from where they go to where they go. So the red and white go here. So these two are going to loop and go to here. And then we're going to daisy chain from here to where they go. The same with the orange. Okay, so this is basically what we're going to do now. We're going to just start daisy chaining it. So my promise is to try to record as much of it as I can and just do a bunch of editing along the way. Why didn't I assemble the playfield? Why didn't I put in all the switches and everything? That's going to happen in sequence. And to really, these things, just the light sockets, cause a lot of grief when you're trying to run the wires, because they're always getting snagged on things as you're pulling and stuff like that. And you run the risk, if you don't do a good solder joint. You should do good solder joints, but if for whatever reason they didn't make good contact, you run the risk of pulling the solder off. So I'm pretty good with the wiring diagrams, but obviously I didn't design this. So the way I do my wiring harnesses when I scratch build them is I use another playfield as well for references. I have pictures and I have another playfield. This is obviously not KISS, but a lot of the things hold true for all of Bally games of this era with regards to where the power supplies come in, the power wires come in and whatnot, how the loops go. So you see how they're looped. And we can just follow in general, like where the white and red go in the relationship with on the boards. And again, I'm married with the pictures. That's how we're going to figure out this this rack of spaghetti. Okay, so what we're going to start now is we're going to start the playfield. So they're all daisy chain. What daisy chain means, it connects here. It's going to connect to here. I have it marked red. Then it's going to go connect here, connect here, connect here, here, so on and so forth. Everywhere that I have green tape is where a red wire is going to go. And then we're going to start with the white and so on and so forth. So I'll hang you up, and I guess you can watch from the bird's eye. And if you get bored, just fast forward, I guess. So, okay, let's do the daisy. Our highway of wires is going to go in between here, which is going to kind of feed here. Then we're going to go around here. We're going to go down here and up the middle. So again, baby steps, guys. So we're shooting for between the wires. Now again, these are going to start here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to splice. I'm going to take off the sheathing. Okay. Can you see? Yeah, you can see. Okay. So then we're going to go through here. Go through the highway. Look at that. Perfect spot. See where I am here? All right. Now we're going to do the daisy. I'll just do these one by one. Okay, it's the first one. Let's do a daisy. So we don't have to go too crazy with the amount of wire, but it's going to go to here. Okay, let's see if this trick works. We're not going to cut the wire, we're just going to try to split the sheathing. And away we go. You can see that? Oh, that didn't work. It split some of the wire. Okay. Sometimes try to take a shortcut and it causes you grief. Okay, now that we have that loop, we might as well cut the rest, right? Because we know these are all pretty well the same. I introduced a yellow wire here. This is just a guide wire, it does nothing. It's not being hooked up at this point. It's just going to help me follow these two to where they need to go. All right, let's hook up all those wires that are hanging off the side. These are the ones that I left 6 inches long. These actually connect to the power supply. So let's go back to the schematic. 50-40, so white, green, there's a space, and then there's the key, and then there's the orange. Okay, that one's not going to be introduced just yet. That's a brown. Number 6 is brown, and then we have blue and red. So here's the power supply. This is to the playfield, and this is the J1, A2, okay? So next time you see this, we're gonna be testing it to make sure the general illuminations work. So I'm gonna do a quick test with power supply. Showed you this in the MPU, how to boot up a dead MPU. I'm basically gonna shove 5 volts through the rails to see if the general illumination light up. Everything in white are the GIs, okay? So remember on the other side we had red and white, and then we had green and orange. So we're gonna do red and white, and these are just the 5 volt coming from the power supply. Turn this baby on. We should have white lights, hopefully no magic smoke. Perfect. Now let me flip it over to the green and the orange. And we should have the same thing. Perfect. Okay. If I put it with white and green, nothing's going to happen because it's not a return. Okay. This is with the 5 volt. Now we're going to hook it up to the actual power supply that's going to power this thing. You should be able to see it. You ready? Yay! It worked. A lot brighter too. A lot more juice flowing through it. Okay, now we're going to introduce the power for the switched illumination. That's this blue wire here. There's going to be two blue wires. There's going to be one here, and there's going to be another one here. And the extra one is going to power, there's a little pigtail that we have to install that supplies lights for like colossal bonus. I forgot which ones it is, but there's 6 of them that this pigtail hooks up to the head. If you watch the head scratch building of the wiring harness for the head, you'll see me install that, but we'll get to that. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to wire up the switched illumination. What we're going to do is we're going to come around, we're going to go through the highway here. First stop is going to be here, so the blue wire will get hooked up here, and that is going to feed all of this right around, and then it's going to feed all these lights here. Okay, and the second one we're going to do is we're going to daisy chain it from here, go along this highway, hook it up to here, which is going to feed these 2 lights and the pop bumpers. Okay, then the third, we're going to go from here, which if you look is connected to where the blue wire is going to be attached here, and we're going to offshoot and hang a wire here for anticipation of installing this. And then there's one more, that light down there. So this is the apron light. This one gets forgotten quite a bit. Now this is the light when you turn the game on and it's ready to play, the little light flashes on the apron. So that has to be hooked up as well. So this will get its own blue feed, and we'll go from here. And yeah, we could hook it up to here. Maybe we will, I don't know. But it technically does hook up with the rest of it. So anyhow, that's where we are. I'll bring you back when that's done. Okay, the last wire we need to install is the brown. This feeds the flippers. Try to say that fast. The power for the flippers. So all I'm going to do is just meander it around, and then we're going to just end up over here, and I'm just going to leave it loose. So when we put the flippers together, that's when we'll wire it up. So the next assemblies we're going to go through are installing. So this is the general illumination, which also took care of the flippers. It also took care of the switched illumination as well. Next is going to be the switch matrix. I want to talk to this blue wire really quickly. Okay, we introduced this blue wire. It's the switched illumination bus. What is that? So this is basically the wire that supplies power to all the lights that flash on the playfield. Remember, you turn the game on, you get the bright white lights. Those are the general illuminations. After the game boots, it starts flickering all those ones. So that's what this wire does here. Okay, this supplies all the power to everything on the playfield associated with that. So before we talk to the switch matrix and start putting that together, it'd be a good idea to make sure we've got everything all nice and set as far as making sure we got power to all those lights goes, because now's the opportune time. Pretty soon, as we start adding more layers of wiring, it's going to be a lot more difficult to diagnose any issues. So let's get to it. Using the power from our computer power supply, ground the blue line and then touch each light bulb associated with the switched illumination to see if it works. And the light should come on. Okay, this tells me I've got obviously good solder, good wire connection. And this is why you want to go through this exercise, because I found one. So this one's good. It's on the same rail. This one doesn't work. Why? Forgot to solder the wire there. So that's it for the first part. There's a few other parts coming. Hope this brought you some happiness, some joy, maybe some entertainment value. Rush-ins. We'll see you pretty soon on the next one.